Well, for more on this, let's go to Jamil Jaffer. He is founder and executive director of the National Security Institute and professor at George Mason University, the Scalia Law School there. Jamil, good to see you. Thank you for coming on this early morning hours. This shooting, it occurs in the middle of the war on Iran. Where does this investigation take authorities? Do they now, or are they trying to potentially find out if there could be, we're not saying there is, but there could be an international aspect to this motive, whether it's foreign actors themselves or perhaps from this lone suspect?
Well, that's exactly right, Eric. I think the police want to find out a number of things right away. Number one, was this shooter alone? Was there anybody else associated with this event? Anybody that helped him prepare? Anybody that motivated him? Anybody that convinced him to do this? And make sure that there are no further threats to the president or anybody else that was at the White House Correspondents' Center. Then beyond that, to your point, for this one shooter himself, what was his motive? Why was he doing this? What was his plan? And then see if there are additional charges that might be appropriate against him. But the most important thing right now is to figure out, was he a lone shooter? Were there other people involved? Might there be other threats going forward, whether it's the president or somebody else?
How do authorities do this? I mean, we've had several instances. We've had the threats, assassination threats from the Iranian government in Tehran, of course, directly against President Trump. They have denied that at some points, but we have seen intense security among former high-level officials of the Trump administration who are involved in taking out General Soleimani and other type of issues. So it is not out of the range of possibility, some would think or say, that there could be a potential threat against the president's life by Iran. What specifically do they do to try and find out if there is any potential connection in this case or not?
Well, with respect to this particular actor, what they'll do is apparently it sounds like he may have been a guest at the Washington Hilton there. They'll obviously search his room. They'll search his house out in Torrance, California, his parents' house, wherever he lived, to identify whether there might be anything they might be able to find. They'll try to get access to his phone, any devices he might have had, a laptop, iPad, the like, access to his email accounts, his any sort of communications they can find. You know, look, who was he talking to? Who was he in communication with? What was the nature of those communications? And trying to figure out exactly what was motivating him and how he planned for this, and whether there's a connection, to your point, to international terrorism, to Iran. You're exactly right to raise the concern that there might be international involvement. We don't know that there is. We don't believe that there is at this point. There's no evidence suggesting that. But again, we don't know what we don't know. We don't have access to his devices and the like. It very well may have been that he was motivated by some outside actor or by events that have taken place. And so that'll be part of the effort to figure out what exactly was taking place here. To your point, we do know that the Iranians have threatened former administration officials like Mike Pompeo, like John Bolton, like our former Iran representative on these issues. And so we know there have been threats against these Americans. And actually, it's interesting because President Trump actually pulled the Secret Service protection that was given to those people for a number of years, both during his administration and then since then as well. So, there's questions, there'll probably be questions about that as well. Was this shooter motivated by that? Was he brought in by those folks? And if he was, do those folks need protection again?
Yeah, and we will probably find out more about any connections at some point, or at least some of his social media and communication history in the past as we delve into this. Finally, you made a point about he was a guest in the hotel. Does that to you show premeditation, that he potentially planned? He lives in California, came to Washington, is armed, and was in the hotel where he potentially could have cased the ballroom, yesterday, a day before yesterday, before the event?
Yeah, again, these are what we've heard from the reporting. The reporting obviously remains sparse, but that is what we understand. And look, the man was carrying a shotgun. It sounds like multiple weapons. Sounds like a shotgun, potentially a handgun, multiple knives. And so he clearly had come and thought this thing through. Again, we don't know whether he had some sort of mental illness, some sort of issues going on in his life as well. Obviously, you don't do this as a normal person. You don't come all the way from California to D.C., with weapons on you or having acquired weapons in the area and stay at the hotel where the president is about to have an event, unless you mean to do harm and then rush through a security checkpoint. But we don't know exactly when this took form in his mind, whether he traveled here for some other reason. he may have been attending the event already and then decided to do something. We don't know for sure. We'll know a lot more, I think, Eric, the next day or two as we learn more about it. But having multiple weapons and having charged a security checkpoint, I think obviously his intent to do harm to somebody in that event, almost certainly the president, but we don't know for sure. We'll find out more. Is evident, and we should be thankful for the work of the D.C. Police, the Secret Service, and obviously be thinking about that officer who's been shot, luckily wearing a vest as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamil Jaffer, as always, good to see you, Jamil. Thank you so much for your insight.